Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. And today we're going to be looking at the eShop. Well, not really looking at the eShop. We're going to be looking at 14 games I got from the eShop for around $50. I was really impressed with this store. I shopped on there a long time ago for one game. It was a beat 'em up a long time ago. But going into the store now, I found so many amazing deals. I was like, wow, this is insane. I didn't realize how much the store has grown over the years. On the PSN store, I never really liked it that much. I thought it was okay. The structure for it is just always kind of weird, and I hate trying to navigate through it. But the eShop is so user-friendly. It's just like, it's fun shopping here. And I definitely had a good time finding these games. So I don't want the video to drag on too long. I got to get right into these games. But these are 14 games I picked up from the store. And hopefully you guys will find some interest with these games that you might want to pick up out of the store for a cheap price. Alright, starting out the list, we have Bridge Strike. This is a shoot 'em up game. Well, it's hard to say if it's a shoot. Well, yeah, you call it a shoot 'em up pretty much. It's just that there's not a lot of enemies really shooting bullets at you. You're getting like missiles shot at you and stuff like that. And you have to deal with like trying not to crash into hazards while you try to complete the level. Your main objective is to pretty much destroy your enemy bridges. I like that this game is kind of like a game within the game. As you can see on the outer layer, your pilot is moving the stick around, controlling the pilot, and that's pretty much precise to how you're controlling the game. So everything you do, that hand is going to do as well. So I thought that was kind of cool and unique. The game is actually pretty fun, but it didn't keep my attention long. You know, these are the type of games that you would play maybe like a 15-20 minutes and then move on to something else before coming back later on and maybe on a trip or something like that. It's like fun to play here and there, but it's not a game you're going to play long periods of time. It's just one of those games you play and go. Here's Paratopic. This is a first-person horror game that pretty much has a PS1 graphics. That's one of the reasons why I picked this game out. The game is weird as heck, though. It might throw a lot of people off, as the story segments in the game are very, they're pretty vague, but I believe they all connect later in the game pretty much. It just, in the beginning, you will not know what's going on, and it seems like this game you're never meant to, really. But still, I think it's a cool game for a couple bucks. Here's Hollow. This is a sci-fi survival horror game that pretty much places you in a mining facility in the orbit of Jupiter. Now, this game is a true survival horror game, and when I say that, I mean you're not going to just have a whole bunch of ammo to shoot your enemies. You're going to have to really pick your enemies and sometimes escape from others. The game is somewhat unbalanced, and the frame rate has issues, but for the price I paid for it, I think it was worth taking a look at, and I think you guys might like it as well too, especially if you want something that's kind of trip you out. This game was meant to have headphones in your ears, so it's definitely one of those type of games. So you're going to really be playing off sounds that you hear in the game. But nothing really else to say about it besides that. You know, I think it's an interesting story. This game originally retailed at $20, and from the eShop, it was on sale for like $2. So if you find it for around that price, I would say go ahead and pick this one up, or at least just try it out.
Is there anyone? Please. I need help.
Here's Evil Tonight. This is one of my favorite games on the list, and this is a survival action game where you solve puzzles and pretty much try to figure out the mysteries of what's going on in like haunted areas. You usually go into like these mirrors and you enter like an alternate version or a previous version of a certain world, and you deal with like the mysteries of what happened to someone or whatnot there. So it's a really cool game, and it really plays like a survival horror game, but just depending if you want to add the horror to it, if anything in this game scares you. I mean, the most that this game will scare you is like a broken glass out of nowhere, a certain sound effect. Definitely one of the cooler games on this list. eShop also has the Secret Files series. If you guys don't know what this series is, and I'm pretty sure many of you don't, this is a series of point and click adventure games that are kind of similar to like the LucasArts games from the old PCs back in the day. Now, these games are pretty much trial and error. You know, there's a good story to be had, but trying to get to certain points in it could be kind of like annoying. Where if you try to, there's one situation in the game where you're trying to hear somebody's conversation, and pretty much you have to come up with an idea of taping a cell phone to a cat. I'm like, what the heck? But this little stuff like that in these type of games, most of you guys will probably know what I'm talking about. Some of you guys probably don't. But like I said, it is a trial and error game, and I really do enjoy these games. The first two games came out on the Wii and the DS, as well as the PC. And then the third game in the spinoff only came out on the PC as digital download. So this is the first time it's been released on a console as digital for the third and the spinoff game. Now, not to go through all the games in the series, but the first game stars a girl named Nina who's looking for her lost father. And on her journey, she'll meet friends and people that'll help her discover the mystery of what happened to him. Now, I've beaten the first two games, and I really like them. And I'm still in the middle of the third game because that's the new one to me. But for point-and-click adventures, I think this will be a game that people will definitely want to check out.
Down! On the floor! Move! Move! Move!
What's this about? Max!
Target in custody. We're coming out.
Don't worry. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. And Nina, I'm especially sorry. I'll miss our honeymoon.
Pushy and Pully and Blockland, this game really seems like a homage of a game called Dope Pool by Capcom, if you guys remember that. It's a part of the Three Wanderers set, but it's a puzzle game where you pretty much have to like eliminate all the enemies on the screen and pretty much just continue through the levels. It's really actually a lot of fun, and this game only cost me $2 when I bought it in the store. And as you can see here, the game is really arcade fun, you know. I feel like it's definitely an arcade puzzle game. It's easy to get into and get out of, but I like the fact that they added a little story to it, and even boss battles that are really cool. So definitely, I think this game is worth your time. I think everybody should try it out, especially if you like games like Push and Pull. Like I said, that was from Capcom back in the day, but I don't think anybody's ever played it, honestly. But if you have, this is the game for you. Alright, so here is Damn Dolls. This is a first-person horror game that puts you in an abandoned house in the middle of a forest looking for your missing friend. Now, this is one of those horror games where you have to like discover hidden passages, unlock a lot of doors, and try to not be stalked. Well, you get stalked in this game no matter what, but try not to get caught by the weird enemies that are stalking you in this house. It's pretty trippy. And here is Silence. I've talked about this game throughout the years on my channel, and I don't know if you guys remember, but I actually I did a pickups video on Jason's channel years ago, and I remember his mom had watched that video, and she ended up picking up the game and beating it. So a little bit about Silence. It is one of those games that are kind of like modern point-and-click adventure games, but it's really a good story, and it's actually a sequel to a game called Whisper World. It's actually Whisper World Part 2, but they decided just to call it Silence, and it's about a brother and sister who are dealing with a situation where they have to deal with war, and they are alerted to an attack. And once this attack is happening, the boy has to find his sister and take her to a shelter because he knows what's about to go down. And it's a very dramatic story. It's insane, like what happens and what these kids have to go through. But mainly, it's a story about a brother trying to protect his sister, and they go into a different world, and he is trying to find her. And I don't want to go too much over the story after that point, but I think it's an interesting game that a lot of people would like. It has really good voice acting. The choices that you pick for certain puzzles are not too hard, thankfully, like old school click adventures, but it's definitely something I think a lot of people would appreciate. It's kind of sad a lot of people don't know about this game, but this was on the Switch store, the eShop, for 99 cents. So it was on sale. So I definitely think it's a game that people want to pick up if you're into adventure games. Now, it's not a long game. I remember it took me, I think, around 6 hours to beat it the first time. But what you're going to get in this is definitely an interesting story and interesting characters. So I'm really hoping somebody in the comments will back me up on this one, because I'm like the only person that knows about this game, it seems. So hopefully some of you guys will try it out.
Hey presto, the king of silence.
He was a good king,
But he got very sick.
and along with him, the land began to suffer.
Fields withered,
Walls and cities crumbled.
everything decayed and fell apart. If only the king would recover. 'Cause if he did, so would silence.
Sadwick wanted to bring him an elixir of life, just as an old oracle had foreseen.
John is not old
Right. She's pretty timeless, actually.
and mysterious. Where's her crystal ball?
Yeah, so there's silence. So hopefully some of you guys will pick this up, because it really sucks when you talk about a game and nobody knows what you're talking about. I hope to bring some conversation to this title. So let me know if you played it in the comment. And next up is Lost Horizon Part 1 and Lost Horizon Part 2. These are more point-and-click adventures that really give me kind of like the adventure feel, like an Indiana Jones movie. So I wanted to pick these up. I don't know how people feel about these games that have played them, but like I said, you guys obviously know I like point-and-click adventures. So these were on the cheap. I think they were going for like $1 or $2 a piece. So I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and try them. And I'm kind of like a quarter through the first one, and I'm really liking it. You know, so I don't know if a lot of people will feel the same way, but still, I'm old school. I do like the point-and-click adventures, and I think if you do like these type of games, you could get something out of this one. And finally, we have Heaven Dust and the sequel, Heaven Dust Part 2. Now, I haven't really got to the sequel yet, because obviously I'm still playing through the first game, but this is an isometric survival horror game, and it will really remind you of the first Resident Evil game. It has that feel to it. You're trying to look around every corner to see what's waiting for you. There's traps, there's puzzles. It's all kind of awesomeness, and I'm really having a good time with this one. Now, a little bit about the story. Scientists have found a virus in people's blood that will lead to immortality, and they call it Heaven's Dust. And I don't know why immortality is like oh, I don't know. But anyways, they find out that it's not all what it seems, and that's where the game comes in, because people that get the sample pretty much are turning into zombies and everything like that. And you pretty much wake up in this laboratory, or this mansion laboratory. You're trying to figure out what's going on, and it's very interesting. And it plays just like a survival horror game. You have to be like very protective of your ammunition, and just don't overall fight every enemy. It's just what a true survival horror game is. Alright everyone, so I hope you enjoyed the video. There are a lot of cool games in the eShop on the cheap, and that's what I mainly wanted to get out to you guys. Most of you guys probably already noticed, but I obviously didn't, man. I'm new to the eShop, really, like finding deals there, so I was just really impressed. So hopefully you guys will find some games in here on the cheap as well. And yeah, that's all I got for you in this video. But there is one more game that I just recently got that I want to talk about real fast before we close this video out, and that is Slipstream. Alright, so Slipstream is an awesome racing game, and I want to say this is pretty much like Outrun Coast to Coast on steroids. This game is freaking awesome. It has a 4-player co-op mode, of course sit-down co-op, you know, and everything. But man, this game is so much fun, and dare I say it, you know, I think it's a hidden gem, you know, and it just came out. So hopefully we'll get more eyes on this game. It's definitely a lot of fun. It's something else, and hopefully this game will get a physical release too, because it's worthy of that. Like, it's like this game was made by one person. It took him 10 years, but one guy made this game, so pretty insane. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for you. Radical Reggie, and I will see you in the next video.